Hey, I don't know if anybody has noticed, but society may be about to actually collapse. Um, like actually this time, because of AI, because labor now is so meaningless in so many domains, and because you can't tell what's real on the internet, and because people feel like they can't trust each other at an individual level, and everything's just kind of collapsing. Don't know what news to trust. Don't know anything. People are just making stuff up. People are capable of a lot of really bad stuff. It's like we're getting spied on more than ever. We're supposedly, electronically monitored 24/7. There's light years more school and mass shootings in the United States than any other country in the world. At the same time that we're monitored more than any other country in the world. And they just exploded the last few years too, like directly correlated with increases in electronic monitoring. And they're just so many compared to other countries. It's just like, the whole Sandy Hook thing with Alex Jones. It's just like, are these just being faked? Because I've had experiences now with paid actors. The new Stasi, just like the East German Stasi experiment. They've done it again, only with AI now, so it's even more people. And there's millions of them, and they're marching around everywhere, and they have no idea what they're doing, and they don't care, as long as they get paid, as long as they're in whatever program, and they think they're going to get whatever points at the end of the day. They do not care at all. They don't need to even understand what they're doing. They don't care. It doesn't need to make sense to them. That's really, 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 really dangerous. It's like, you can go out and you can be on some crusade that doesn't make sense to other people, and you can tell yourself, well, that I'm on my mission, and other people don't have to understand it. But if you don't understand your own mission, it doesn't even make sense to you. You don't require it to make sense, period. You don't know what making sense is because you've been living in this hyper-normalized environment where these people are on TV just making no sense when they talk whatsoever. I see older people on the internet talking about how, they talked about some comment that Trump made. Just like, oh my God, I can't believe someone's talking like that as the president. And I was just like, and it's not just this guy. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, well, if we got rid of this one guy, all of our problems would go away. That's obviously not that simple. But it's just like, I just kind of started taking that for granted the last decade. This is how all of these people have been talking to each other on TV and stuff, just extremely toxically and derisively. It's just like, and that's what normal is now. And it's like referring to time as like, this actually, all of about 10 years ago, this one comment over here would have been pretty shocking by itself. And now it's all of it. And it's all of it. And there's these people running around all throughout the government, high and low, that don't understand they are being given alternate orders. They have alternate agendas that they don't understand at all. It came from some AI. It was generated by an AI. Their mission was generated by an AI. They don't know what it is. They don't care whether or not they understand it. But as long as they got a paycheck, they're reading whatever script they were told to read. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like that doesn't make me feel safe at all. And that's what's happened to me. I've been ambushed, and they actually did it. Two completely unrelated cases, they happened at the same time, to blow up the coincidence meter. Coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. They attacked me in two different courts trying to drive me insane. And I have all the evidence, and I have all these posts, and they realized because of my family dynamics that I have a very poor support network. They realized that if they came along and just gaslit hard enough, they could get the people around me to turn against me too. Not bothering to read anything or even understand what's going on, which is extremely hurtful. I mean, they've created this extremely hurtful dog pile situation. And it's not true that my family's against me. My mom, but when they do help, Like my dad, to this day, he hasn't helped. He hasn't done a goddamn thing. My mom, she came in, submitted an affidavit, tried to help me, tried to vouch for me. And they just ignored her, gaslit her too, right alongside me. They sat there being rude, derisive to my grandparents when they came in there. They're just bad people. And they're not doing very good jobs. I mean, ChatGPT makes it really obvious that they're not doing very good jobs now. Like, it's really disgraceful. But the thing about this, like, that's really scary that I need to get across to other people is this has affected my life in really terrifying ways. Like, that the implications are really deep, that they need to be addressed at a society-wide level, that this is more important than some of the stuff that they're putting on TV. Because you can affect people's lives in really, really cruel ways like this. So this entire thing revolves around me being presence bombed by this girl when I was 12 years old. And I'm sorry, but it was a chaotic home environment where my dad was drinking a lot, and the fact that I have to keep going through this over and over and over and over again without just having a private, dignified, like, mediative environment or whatever, and that these stupid people, because they wanted to drag this shit out for me for years and make me go over it over and over and over again for the world, which is an obviously horrible thing to do. So if the evidence doesn't get destroyed, they're going to prison, because this is a disgusting thing to do to someone. So let me go over my trauma again for everybody. When I was 12 years old, I was in an abusive home environment where my dad drank a lot. The people that spy on us and monitor all of us in our homes and have for years, they knew about all of it. They watched us through our phones and our computers, just like they do now. I didn't enjoy my house. I felt scared there a lot. I felt more comfortable at school. Our dad would go and sleep where he worked in Pontiac, an hour away. And we would be glad that he was gone during the week. He would come home on the weekends and just be drunk. And my dad quit drinking years ago, or at least for the most part. To have to relive this over and over and over again because these people want to perpetuate it. And they know what they're doing, and they know what psychology is, and they know you're not supposed to do that to other people. They're just doing it anyway because someone paid them to do it. It's not the right thing to do by any law book, by the Ultima Ratio. This isn't how you treat people. They're just ignoring that because someone dangled enough money in front of them 2 years before we're all getting a UBI anyway. So they go, duh, I'll destroy someone else's life for some money, duh. And they went, that's what most of the people in our government are. Anyway, so when I was 12, I met this girl in my computer class. She was the only girl ever, she invited me out of the blue to her house. I went to her house. I really liked her. She was like the perfect, made for me to be attracted to, even at 12 years old. Which, as I've learned over time, because they've used other women that look very similar to her, they're able to just calculate what you're attracted to. And they use that. So they can control whoever is in front of you in any environment and use that to hurt you. Which is what they did to me. They paid, this is what I'm talking about with all these school shootings and them paying all of these crisis actors to fake all of these school shootings. When we have this electronic monitoring environment where it's the school shooting, the mass shootings are correlated right alongside electronic monitoring, and we have 3 times as many as all the other developed countries combined. So it doesn't make a lot of sense unless the government itself is either so incompetent despite its ability to watch all of us, or it's deliberately facilitating the shooters, or the shootings are being faked by the government to scare people. And so they took one of these child crisis actors, one of these 12-year-olds, and they used her to basically do a CIA love bomb campaign on me when I was 12. When I was just hitting puberty. But they did it in a way that wasn't a love bomb campaign. She invited me over to her house several times, acted close, gave me a sense of closeness that, of course, the other kids around were controlled to not give me that sense of closeness. So they controlled that sense of closeness so they could give it to me through whatever vessel they wanted. They can choose whichever person acts nice to you. They can make everybody be mean so that when one person is nice, it feels more significant. That's what they did with her. And she had the features like my mother's, and so they used that. But she also had a boyfriend at the time for 2 years, but just randomly was doing that and trying to get close to me. And then slowly, acted disgusted with me. And, the night that my dad hit me and I went to her house to hide from my dad, she stuck her... I didn't ask her to put her feet in my face or anything. She stuck her feet in my face while I was sitting on the ground in front of her and made me kiss them. And, laughed at me and stuff. And so they know what they're doing, and they use actors like that. Like her mother knew what she was doing too, because her mother would say inappropriate things like, oh, maybe he should stay the night. We were 12. And then she said, oh, that would be appropriate. Like she was saying that to her mom. And they would have these weird exchanges like that. And then her saying to me one time, oh, my mom keeps saying, asking me how I can't choose between you two. If I'll ever be able to choose between you two, like me and her boyfriend. Doing stuff like that to fuck with my head. This is the girl that, then I got mad. Eventually, they did things to me. They rage baited me enough that they made me so angry that I texted her and called her mean names. Now, I didn't realize until afterwards, a long time later, a friend of mine that went to the same college as this girl said that he had spoken with her. Now he claims that he forgot what was said, but I remember what he said. And he said that she said that her parents and her called the police on me when I was a kid, when I texted her, called her a bitch and stuff. Which they never did anything for me. I didn't realize until all these years later that they knew all, just like the people that spy on, they knew all about everything that was going on in my home, did nothing to help me. Didn't care about police when it came to my safety. It said my dad is hitting me. And then all of a sudden I text her, call her a bit. Then they're like, where are the police? Someone needs to teach this young man a lesson. After they came in and pulled me into their world to get me hot and bothered, and then fuck me around and then throw me away. Then try to make me feel terrible, trap me with these feelings of remorse. Then I go years and years and years thinking I'm the bad guy. I yelled at this girl. I didn't really understand. I felt like, I just need to get this girl to understand, what I was going through at the time. They turned it into this situation, this emotionally torturing situation. Years and years and years go by. I do reach out to this person. Compassionately, apologetically, very reasonably. As wholesomely as I can muster, because they used this person, they intertwined this person with my trauma back then, one way or another, whether or not she actually was an agent. She's been intertwined with my trauma in such a deep way. There's this closure, there was this unresolved knot, there was something that needed to be resolved. I would message her, she ignores me. Message ignored. I was never blocked or anything on any platform. Just say nice things. Try to send her things that I thought she might like my music. And then months and months later, it's all of a sudden, you've made me uncomfortable, goodbye. With no other explanation. And that's it. And then police, and then 4 years of probation, and then a 80% success rate for a mediation program in that county. But then, we don't do mediation. We're not going to do mediation for you. And then a husband that just comes out of nowhere that's not on her social media or anything that says, oh, he's bragging about his weapons and stuff. I don't own any weapons. The whole court goes through. They don't do any investigation. None of their evidence adds up. None of them make any sense when they talk. None of them act like any of it has to make sense. None of them actually will address anything that I try to bring up. They ignore everything that I say. When they did that, this is the thing that makes me very concerned. This girl's first name, I'll only give you her first name because that's what's relevant here. Her first name is Brianna. My brother met a girl. We both went into the military and went to something called A school after basic training. We both met a dark-haired girl there. I met a dark-haired girl named Jasmine. She led me on for a while and then turned out to be whoring around with 3 different guys. One of them was Hispanic. That's the guy that she was with the most was Hispanic. That's important. Actually married the Hispanic guy because my only ex-girlfriend also married someone for their green card who was Hispanic or whatever. They keep doing these things to me with women to try to politically charge me or something. Anyway, that person hurt me in AIT a lot. When my brother started sending me videos and stuff of him with this girl who looks like her name is Brina, and she looks like a cross between the girl I met in AIT and Brianna, the girl from this court action. So when the police pressed charges on me the day before Christmas Eve of December 2024, they pressed charges prematurely a week before the only evidence that needed to come back by search warrant return would come back. So, you know, when somebody comes in and files a complaint, you do an investigation, then you file for charges. Then you actually press the charges. They had information that still needed to come back from a search warrant return from Facebook. So they pressed charges a week before that actually came back early so that I would find out the day that I met my brother's wife for the first time, Brina, who looks like Brianna and acts like her too. Acts like her. I remember her from high school. My brother's wife. And when I was in this courtroom having to listen to this evidence and stuff, they play the 911 calls of this guy, his voice, this husband, who's not in this person's social media profiles. I didn't know this person had a husband. All of a sudden she has a husband. He's a Texan who's slightly taller than me. They like to do slightly taller Southern guy, short or fat black guy, and then Hispanic guy are the 3 archetypes that they use to cuck me with the paid actor woman that they do it with over and over and over again since I was 12 years old. But yeah, so that guy in the 911 call sounds like my brother. When I lived with my brother before in the ghetto, we lived together in an apartment that was in like a bad neighborhood, and he bought a shotgun. It was his first ever weapon, so I went with him to buy the shotgun and stuff, I think. Or maybe his friend went with him to buy the shotgun, actually. But I remember I was there when he bought his first shotgun. And so this guy talks, and he has a voice kind of like my brother. He's talking about how he just got back from his training, because my brother had just joined the military. And he has a voice that sounds like my brother's, and he's talking to the dispatch operator who got a stalker. He's like, it's okay, I got a shotgun I could blow him away with, or whatever. He's bragging about his shotgun, as he's lying about me bragging about weapons that I've never owned. There's no messages that they even turned into the court talking about weapons, but nobody addresses that. See, there's endless things like that they're doing to rage bait me that nobody addresses. So it's just like how the Congress has been taken over by a bunch of Looney Tune motherfuckers that are not doing anything useful except dumping money into a hole in the desert, which everybody knows is stupid. These people have been unilaterally like corrupted by some sort of AI or something. It's coordinating all of these people. And it's doing horrible things to me. It's like I've applied for definitely over 1,000 jobs over the last 5 years, at least over 1,000. And all of that time I have gotten jobs, but the only jobs I got were parking attendant and security guard for a I had an interview for one job where they were going to have me go work on cables, on telephone poles and stuff, and they were going to have me go up with an aluminum ladder, and I said, what, can I have a rubber ladder? And then, the guy never answered me, and they were really disorganized, and they were scamming their customers right in front of me, and it was like, okay, so you're trying to get me killed, like, so it's like, that's a bit of a red flag. I couldn't take the job. And then the only other thing that came up in all that time that I turned down was Mad Power, which was hauling the exact same generators from my National Guard unit. So it's like, I'm only allowed to have a job if it very directly like keeps me reminded of my time in the National Guard for some reason, or if it keeps me with my mom. So I'm always with mommy. Always, forever. And all the girls spit on me, and they don't need any reason to do it. And police actually come to kick my dick in for them. Nobody has to treat me with any respect. And I'm not allowed to get away from mommy. I can't have real jobs. I can't have a big boy job, despite the fact that I demonstrate over and over and over and over again that I had the competency, I had the motivation. I did want to be successful. I did want to make it in this world. I wanted to treat other people with respect. And I wanted to have successful businesses, and I wanted to make it. But these people came along. They knew I had a substance abuse issue with marijuana. And they don't care. They don't care. They're not doing anything useful or helpful or supportive for anybody. They've corrupted this infrastructure to kick people while they're down. That is literally what it's being set up to do. It's a bunch of people getting paid absurd salaries to bully poor people and do a worse job than ChatGPT. It's a fucking monster. Our society is demonic, satanic. I mean, it's very, it's bad. This is really bad. The fact that I can sit here hollering about this for years, I mean, that they're doing this to me for years. Nobody cares. I mean, it's just, fuck you, die in a hole, die. Like, I'm not a virgin, but the only chick that they sent to ever actually pretend that she loved me was a decade older than me at the time. And I mean, in retrospect, I mean, she was a very loving person and a very impressive person in her own right at the time, although kind of crazy and in retrospect evil. But also in retrospect, it's a little insulting. I tried harder than everyone around me for most of my life. It's like Brianna, they very deliberately cucked me with, like, guys that talked, with a mannerism as if they were less intelligent, that they were kind of ghetto or whatever. Or like this Texan guy in the video, they're just, like, sitting there. I can't remember what they say, but they're just sitting there. She was our valedictorian of our high school, and they're sitting there talking like trailer park people or something. Like, just to mock me and kind of be mean to me. Like, that's the thing. All of this was set up just to be mean to me. That's the problem. All of these people they're not professionals or anything. They're just, for all we know, they're just puppets of a billionaire that's jacking off, constructing horrible scenarios. Like, that they're just doing horrible things to us with these puppets. Because that's all they are. They don't know how to think for themselves. And so it's very terrifying. It's like the life that these people would abandon me to, even knowing that the world could be about to end and they don't care. And that knowing completely unnecessarily that they sat here provoking and instilling this rage in me. This has affected me my entire life. I believe over the course of my life, these people are responsible for 5 to 10% brain death from the shenanigans, like the shit when I was 12 and all the way going up till now. I think that if it weren't for them doing these things to me, if they had treated me with respect and not orchestrated these scenarios to torture me, it actually just made sure that I was happy like anybody else, in a happy relationship where I was exchanging positive hormones and, like most people, I mean, because a lot of people are like sex deprived and stuff now. It's like, if we were exchanging positive hormones and actually get along with each other on a day-to-day basis and having to work together and do all this, like, it would be completely fine. My life would have been so much better all these years. and you actually went out of your way, somebody went out of their way to use their resources to kind of like really harshly, cruelly dive bomb me all the way in the very beginning of my life with like the possibility of this thing that we talk about, like love, only for it to be this setup, like a real setup where it's just like to watch other people have it in front of you endlessly who don't deserve it as much. Because you can see, like, I have had historically so much patience and throughput towards trying to, relay my passion and trying to be in love with someone. And they really horribly like spit on me, and like not only that, tried to drag it out as much as possible. Put me on hold, let me message into a vacuum, or do these things and emotionally torture me for as long as they could before they shut me down. They would do things deliberately to make it worse. And so they also paid these children to like make out with each other in the hallway in front of me and do stuff like that. As a kid, they wanted to make me angry as a kid and emasculate me as a child and provoke my rage as a child. This is what their programs are about. They're not protecting anyone. They are the bullies. They've been bullying me for 16 years and it still hasn't worked. It's like, I'm serious. It's like my brother, they paid someone just like her to marry my brother. To just go be in love with him. Brina instead of Brianna. Looks and acts the same. I mean, you need to actually investigate these people. That's what I'm saying. They're paid actors. They definitely have something else going on, motivating their behavior across my case, where they've been psychologically torturing me for profit. Okay, I just gave you the motive. They think that there's some sort of secret agents, or they're being bribed. Somebody told them that there's some secret magical national security reason that they're allowed to be assholes, or they're being bribed. But the first one of those things doesn't actually exist. There isn't any magical reason you're allowed to be an asshole to other people. So you guys are definitely, it's like our brain states are probably being monitored right now. I keep trying to get this across to people if they don't want to listen to me. It's really not that far-fetched by now. Nobody's going to tell you about it until like 20 years later, by the time they've already decided to do it. So you can kill me, but it's not really going to do anything. The evidence is still going to be in your mind. You're not smart enough to pull that memory out of your mind. And nobody's smart enough to pull that memory out of your mind gives a shit about you more than whatever system they're building. If they have a justice system and every human's got to go in a box, or every peg's got to go in a hole, they don't say, Oh, you were a judge in the old world. Oh, well, never mind. Oh, I'm sorry, you're special. They don't care. They got parameters. So you tripped that wire. Sorry. The truth is real. The truth is a physical reality. Over long enough time horizons, we converge towards the truth. There is more than 1 billion times more energy in the sun than is necessary to simulate human society atop the earth, which is 1/1,000,000th of the energy that it would take to simulate every atom, or less than that. I mean, that's just to give you an example of how big the numbers are. The point is, you could simulate the earth millions of times over only as it pertains to human society, but that includes every communication. that means every single word ever spoken or texted, because we know with natural language processing, the entire way that ChatGPT works, you can predict life down to the very word. You can predict people's brains and interactions with one another, including this, down to the very last word. And you can simulate millions of Earth societies like that to find the correct past. You can use that in addition to what physical evidence you do have to retrodict the past accurately, extremely accurately. Even if you don't know completely accurately, you'll have some semblance. You'll know who belongs where, in whatever system they decide to build. Not your system. And your system is incredibly stupid. Anyways, yeah, these people are going really below the belt. Somebody is going really below the belt. For all you know, it could be China. It could be whatever. I'm the only person that says stuff like, hey, maybe we should talk about the fact that they're brainwashing people over the internet with AI avatars that look like real people. But I mean, that just kind of came and passed and everybody's like, whatever. So now it just happens. It's really bad. You could do really, really bad things when you hijack human relationships with machine level shenanigans, which is exactly what my whole situation is machines, some sort of government oppression or foreign oppression, foreign infiltration, some sort of algorithms that are running on all of us because we're in a perpetual Cold War at all times. Technology is always advancing regardless of whether or not we declare it on TV. Somebody is using some sort of an algorithm, some sort of an AI system, and it's affecting me very negatively. Like it's actually trying to bully me. And so I need that actually investigated. Unfortunately, it requires actually investigating police officers and judges as if they're human beings too, which nobody likes to actually do. But the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be for you when the robots take over, because you're depriving me of having any life whatsoever. When I put all kinds of honest, credible, actual effort into my life, very sincere effort. Most people that have ever known me could vouch that I did put sincere effort into my life. You might not like me or my opinions, but I put sincere enough effort to be allowed to live. AI God watches all of us. If you really think that I don't, like that I just don't deserve to live, you don't deserve to live at all, dude. But I'm sitting here talking to you and I obviously have a sentience, so it's like, okay, I'm going to say to you that I believe you do have a right to exist, but you're going to go to a re-education facility because you suck. There's a lot of you. You're really annoying. A lot of bad stuff has been going on for a long time. And ignorant people that just kind of follow orders blindly don't really help anything. You're supposed to actually be able to think critically about what you're doing. Because we've got some motherfuckers that need some talking to. And I need a mediation, like a human being. Don't drag me into your stupid fucking... I don't even know what the hell that was supposed to be. It obviously was not a United States court.